Hello everyone, this is a video on how to complete the inheritance blood type assignment. So once you're in Google Classroom, you're going to want to go to classwork. In week 13, December 11th through 11th, you're going to go down to assignment 3, inheritance of blood types. And you're going to want to click on the class kick assignment here, and that's going to take you to a login page. That login page looks like this. And so then you're going to want to type in your name. All right. You're going to hit go. I'm going to fill in the first 2 slides of information. Then we'll do a practice Punnett square problem. And then I'll show you how you can set up the last part. So we went over all of this information in class, so I'm just going to fill it in. And if you have questions, feel free to shoot me an email or to text me. So in human cells, the DNA is located in the nucleus. The function of the DNA is to provide the instructions needed. Now you don't have to change the size of that. I just wanted to make sure it fit on the line so you could see it. So the function of the DNA is to provide the instructions needed to develop. So that's like grow, survive, and reproduce. Each human cell has 46 chromosomes. 23 come from the maternal or the female or mom genome, and 23 come from what is called the paternal, and this is the male or the dad genome. So you're going to get half of your genes from mom and half of your genes from dad to total a number of 46 chromosomes. Each chromosome is made up of genes, which are DNA segments that determine what traits you express. Each person will receive one blood type gene from their mother and one blood type gene from their father. So now we're using the information we know about genes and how they go from parent to offspring to be able to solve some blood typing problems. The combination of 2 genes is called the genotype. So that's what combination, whether you have an A blood gene or a B blood gene or an O blood gene. So whatever combination of 2 genes you have is the genotype, and the type of blood you have is going to be the phenotype. Okay, I'm going to zoom out so we can see all of those notes there. I do recommend pausing it and then getting everything down and then starting it to go on to the next page. Now to go to the next page, you hit that arrow up there at the top, and now we're going to be on slide 2. So there are 3 possible blood genes a person can get from their parents. You can get an A blood type gene, which is a dominant gene. This gene is always going to produce A antigens on the outside of the protein. You can get a B gene from your parent, and a B blood type gene is also a dominant gene. So anytime the B gene is present, you're going to produce B proteins on the surface of the red blood cells. Or you can have an O blood type gene, which is the recessive gene and is masked by the A and B blood type genes. There are 4 possible blood types that we're going to be discussing in this class that a person can have. So this next part here, each blood type is made up of 2 genes. So we have 3 possible genes, and those 3 genes combine in different ways to give us the 4 possible blood types. So this part here is going to be the most important part to help you complete the next problems. So if you get an A gene from mom and an A gene from dad, or you get an A gene from dad and an O from mom, or vice versa, you're going to have A blood. Because each combination has an A present, that's a dominant gene, so it is going to produce the A proteins on the outside of the blood cell, the red blood cell. You're going to have A blood. If you have a B or a B, or B or an O, you're going to have B blood. If you have a B or, you have one A and one B gene. These are what we call codominant. They're both expressed, and you have AB blood. And lastly, if you have two O genes, you're going to have O blood. Since O is a recessive gene, you have to have them both. You have to get one from each parent in order to have blood, the O blood type. Okay, so now let's have a practice problem. Okay, so right here we're going to just go ahead and create a problem. And for this problem, I'm going to say mom has AB blood and dad has O blood. Now, if you were in class and I had started a different problem, you can either change it or you can use this example. Either way is fine with me. Okay, so there's our two blood types. So if mom has AB blood, that means she has to have an A and a B gene. So I'm going to use the pen tool, which is right next to the arrow right up here. Let me go ahead and show you. So this is the pen tool. And then to change the color of the pen tool, you just hit this and you can change it to whatever color you want it to be. You do not have to change the color because that's not most important. What's most important is that we just know how to do the Punnett square problems. Okay, so we have split mom's A gene and mom's B gene. Dad has O blood, so we just talked about how we know he has to have two O genes. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the inheritance. How we know the genotype and the phenotype of the children by using the Punnett square. So mom, she can inherit an A gene. Or she can give an A gene, I'm sorry. And dad, he can give an O gene. Okay. So in this first square, the possible combination is A from mom, O from dad. In the next square, we can get B from mom, and we can get O from dad. Normally, we write dominant and then recessive trait, so A goes first, then O. Then for this bottom one here, again, mom can give an A because she still has that. And then dad could give his second O. Okay. So even though it's going to be the same blood type, we would still write that here. And mom could give her B. And she could, to dad's second O, that could be combined there with dad's second O gene. And so this would be the completed Punnett square, what I'm looking for. Now, Punnett squares, knowing how to do them is great, but more importantly, we need to know what they mean. And they give us a probability or a chance to predict what blood type each child will have, with a mom that has AB blood and a dad who has O blood. So if we treat each square as a quarter out of a possible 4 quarters, we would say here that this square and this square, so 2 out of the 4 squares, are going to have this AO genotype. So they have an A and an O gene. So if I add 1 quarter, which is 25%, plus 1 quarter, which is 25%, that's going to equal 1/2 or 50% chance of having an AO genotype. And what that means is there is a 1/2 or 50% chance that the child will have, so it has an A, that's a dominant trait. So we have A blood because it's going to produce A proteins on the outside of its red blood cell. Okay, so now let's take a look at these two. So these two are also the same. So I'm going to highlight them in a different color. So we have two BO genotypes. Okay. So there is, it's going to be the same. There is a quarter, which is 25%, plus 1/4, which is another 25%. That equals 1/2, or 50% BO genotype. So if you have a B and an O gene, that B is dominant. So there is a 1/2 or 50% chance that the child of this mom and dad will have B blood. Okay, so this is how you would complete this slide here. So I'll zoom out. So you complete the square, and then you can tell me what the percentage is of each blood type from a mom that has AB blood and a dad that has O blood. So now we'll move to the last slide, which is going to show us a problem. Okay, so I'm going to zoom it in, I'm going to set it up for us, and then I will let you complete it on your own. So this is a paternity problem. This problem deals with who's the father. I'm going to annotate highlighting the important information in this problem so that way we can go ahead and set up our Punnett squares. A female is pregnant and has been romantically involved with 3 men. She has a blood genotype of AO. Okay, so here are her 2 genes. She can give her child an A gene or an O gene. Her first partner, so the first person who could be the dad, has a blood genotype of AA. Okay, so the very first person has 2 A genes that he could give his child. Her second partner has a blood genotype of AB. So this possible father, he can give 1 A gene and 1 B gene. And her third partner has a blood genotype of BO. Okay, so there's 3 different blood types there. 9 months later, a baby is born with O blood. Okay, so we know that the baby has O blood. Use the Punnett squares below to solve the problem. So we need to know who the father is. But before we get started with that, we really also need to know is what 2 genes a person with B blood has, or a person with O blood has, because we're going to need to look for this in the mixes that we have here. So O blood type is equal to OO genotype. Okay, so they have 2 O genes. Okay, so I'm just gonna... Okay, so let's take a look at the possible combinations that we can have. So we know that the mom has AO blood type, right? So we're gonna put her genes on each one of our Punnett squares where it says mom. Okay, so let me zoom out real quick. So mother here will have an A and an O to inherit, or to give. Right here, another A and another O. Here, another A. Okay, and an O. All right. So those are the first. That's how I would start this. Now for partner 1, so we'll go ahead and write his in red here. So partner 1, so the possible dad that it could be, he had, let's take a look, AA. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to complete each of these Punnett squares and then look for the dad who's going to give you an OO genotype. For partner 2, which we'll do, I guess, in partner 2, he had AB blood. Move this up just a little bit. Okay, so I'm just going to write that in here. So he has an A gene that he can give, and he has a B gene that he can give. So I'm going to go ahead and write A here, and then B here. So I want to go ahead and complete this Punnett square with all the genes and see if it gives me an OO genotype. The last father has a blood type of BO. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down here, and I'm going to put a B and an O. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom out and show you this. So this is how all 3 of your Punnett squares can be set up. So again, you're going to want to put one gene from each parent in each box to see the possible combinations, and you're looking for an OO genotype. That's going to be the father. Let me put this as partner 3. Okay. And so once you figure out who the dad is, partner 1, 2, or 3, you're going to go ahead and write it right here. And you're going to say, I believe partner blank is the father because, and tell me how you know that they're the father. All right, so this is how you work on the Heritage of Blood assignment. I look forward to seeing your results.